Hey guys, so as a kid, I got sick all the time. I mean, 3 or 4 times, sometimes 5 times a year. I'd have a head cold that would turn into bronchitis, which would become this upper respiratory infection, or it would be a sinus infection, and I'd have to take antibiotics to knock the infection, and it wound up being a pretty consistent ordeal that only got worse as time went on for me. It didn't get better. I didn't grow out of it. It just got consistently worse. When I was even younger, I had my tonsils out because I was always getting strep throat. I was having lots of ear infections, just a whole lot of issues where I was the kid who was getting sick quite a bit. And I had parents who were very health conscious, and they tried to make sure that I stayed healthy and I ate right, yet all these things were going on. So there's a lot of kids out there that are suffering from these issues where they're just getting every single cold, or maybe you yourself, you still are dealing with this. Fortunately, this is not the case for me, and it took years of me experiencing this on the regular before I actually was able to come to a solution to improve it. And that solution was not one that most people really kind of connect the dots to, and that's consistent neurologically based chiropractic care. That's a mouthful, but basically it is the type of chiropractic that we do in our office that will be beneficial for you and your kids and your family, is when we can actually balance out your immune system. So your immune system, most people don't realize that there can be like a disharmony within the immune system. There's 2 parts to your immune system. There's a Th1 system, there's a Th2 system. And now they don't get too concerned with all of that, but there's got to be a balance to it. That balance is coordinated by the brain. Brain controls everything. Brain controls your little toe, it tells every cell in your body what it needs to do. So when we start getting people reconnected from the brain to their immune system, and that balances out, then what ends up happening is your immune system, which is there to protect you from colds, bacteria, viruses, bugs, and all that kind of stuff. It also helps to kind of clean out all the bad cells inside our body. So we have naturally cells that are turning cancerous, but our body fixes it and gets rid of those cells so that everything is working right. But when that gets out of balance, we start to have problems. Maybe the immune system shuts down, and you wind up catching all these colds, right? And it's associated with an imbalanced brain, causes an imbalanced immune system, which also causes other issues in the body as well. Interestingly, it can also work on the other side. There are some people that I never get sick, and yet they're not quite healthy in all aspects. So it's just a weird thing that they're unhealthy in a lot of areas, but they don't get sick. There's another imbalance where your body doesn't even try to fight off anything. It just kind of is allowing whatever it is to hit you and hit you hard, but you're not even trying to protect yourself. So there is no response, and you're like, I don't get sick. I don't feel great, but I don't get sick. And that's another problem of an imbalanced immune system or an imbalanced brain. So what we do is we work to make sure that your brain is connected up to your body, that it's receiving the appropriate signals. If you are getting sick all the time, it's a guarantee that you're not getting the proper signals. A compromised immune system means that you have a compromised brain, which means the connection between your brain and your body, which is a very, 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 very critical. It has to be connected. You can't go around disconnected without problems. And that's where problems are starting to develop. So we find out where there is that disconnect, and we use a very specific type of technique in order to make sure we can correct those misalignments without popping or twisting or cracking or what maybe you consider chiropractic care to be. And what it does is it rebalances out your brain so that it can rebalance out your immune system. And then over time, because it doesn't happen overnight, and there's no magic pill here, it will start to function normally. You will rebuild your nervous system the way that it's designed, and your immune system will start to function. What that means for you and your kids is less sickness. The runny nose and stuff, if they get sick, it just kind of is there for a day or so, and then it goes away. And that's normal, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You get the occasional cold, and it goes away. It doesn't turn into anything big. And we want that for you. We want that for your family. That's what my life has turned into, is one that I don't get sick. I get sick occasionally, but when I do, it's not like it used to be, not even close. I'll get like a sniffle, or I'll feel a little lethargic for a day, and then I'll bounce right back and I'll be fine the next day, and I'm moving on with my life. And that was not the way my life was up until I was in my early 20s when I started getting regular chiropractic care the way that we do it here. So that is something that is a possibility. That's the first step, is to understand that it's possible to not have to constantly be sick. And the answer is not drugs. It's not all these supplements that are all promising you, these miraculous cures, and you realize that the bottles are just sitting there because they didn't do what you expect them to do. What you need to do is you need to address the problem at its source, and then you can start to rebuild health from the inside out naturally, which is the way that it's supposed to be. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, and we look forward to seeing you in our office.